Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today is Monday, October the 11th, 2021, and I'm Farid Younos. Thank you for joining me for the next half an hour. Yesterday, Sunday, October the 10th, Tubojan Odina Jao, who is a senior clinical oncology sales specialist at a genetic oncology company. She's in a very active and very active and very energetic young lady. She organized an event in Sacramento, California, for the newcomers, the new immigrants that arrived in this country after the fall of Kabul, August 15, 2021. And I was invited by Tubojan to say a few words for the newcomers. First of all, I'd like to thank Tubojan Odina Jao for inviting me. It was a great honor to be there. And secondly, it was a great event. Too many people, at least 600-700 or more people, and other Afghans who were in Sacramento already, they also joined the event. So Tubojan, she's, as I said, she's very active and very energetic, and she really works hard to do something for her community, in which I highly admire and appreciate, and I thank her from the bottom of my heart. And I also thank her again for inviting me to say a few words. Yesterday's event was a very special one because these newcomers, the new immigrants, they arrived in the land of opportunity, and they arrived in the land of free. And that was the theme of my very short presentation yesterday that I like to share with you. And those of you who know some newcomers, please share this video clip after Thursday, because this video clip will be available on YouTube after Thursday this week. So, as you all know, when I came here 42 years ago almost, although I did not have a cultural shock, because I used to be living in Europe before that for my education. So I had been exposed to Western culture, Western values, Western style of life, and all that. But the new Afghan immigrants were coming from Afghanistan and never been abroad. Sometimes, not only sometimes, but most of the time, coming to a Western society that are free, and there is no religious restriction here. There is no government dictatorship. There is no interference from the public in your life. This could be a big cultural shock. So what I said yesterday is this, that freedom comes with responsibility, and freedom comes with moral principle. And these are the two pillars of freedom: responsibility and moral principle. If one is not following the principle of ethics and also responsibility towards others, this freedom could be a chaotic situation. So the first advice I have for the new immigrants is never ever break the law. Even yesterday, When we entered the park, it was this event was in a place called Hansel Park, something like that. I don't remember very well. So when we entered the park, there was a long queue of cars. So it took us like 25 minutes to reach to where we wanted to reach. After we reached to the park, this is a huge park. But then again, two Afghan men, they left the queue and broke the law and wanted to reach faster to their destination. And happily, no accident occurred because that was two-way traffic venue. So the first advice I have for the newcomers, because in Afghanistan there was no law, there was no in the last 20 years. And now there's dictatorship and religious dictatorship and this and that we totally disagree. But the first advice I have for the newcomers is never ever think to break the law in this country, because you will be in a hell of trouble. Not only that you will be in trouble, you will be stigmatized or marked as an uncivilized person, because a society that runs by laws, whether we agree with some laws or disagree with some laws, that's another issue. But in a society that runs by laws, and if you break the law, you are a very uncivilized person. So please make sure that you follow the laws. And if you do not know, ask somebody else. And I'm advising all the organization that work for the immigrants. And I received an email from Maryland also about organizing a virtual Zoom gathering about this issue. And I'm willing to travel to the East Coast if there's need, maybe, that we should teach these newcomers, because the government provides sustenance, apartment housing, food, health insurance, and all that. But the government do not provide a civic education for the newcomers, that how they should behave and how they should run their life and conduct their lives in this country. And we, the old comers that have been here for almost 42 years, November the 12th will be 42 years, we, the old comers, we are ready to help our newcomers so they should live in peace and prosperity and tranquility rather than being in trouble. Because when you do not know the laws of the country, when you do not know the style of life, when you do not know the culture of these people, you could be in trouble yourself. So be a law-abiding citizen is extremely important. The second issue is that many Afghans, unfortunately, it's not in Islam, but that's the way it is. It's a cultural issue. They treat their women differently, most of them. In this country, men and women are equal from a civic point of view. And the women at home should be treated with respect and compassion and love rather than fighting or causing problems or abusing women. And this is not acceptable in this society at all. Because according to the Quran, the Islamic book, in the law of this country, men and women are equal. So whether you want to play Islam, the Islam that Muhammad brought, not the Islam that people practice. Whether you want to play Islamic or you want to play an American, you need to know that men and women are equal before the law. And those men who abuse their wives, they will be accountable big time. So my other advice to you is that when you come home, when you come to this country, of course, it's very natural. We all experience this, that we get homesick. We really do for a month or 2 or 3 or even more. And this homesickness causes domestic violence. And this is your challenge to avoid. But how could you avoid this trauma of homesickness? Is to get busy. Americans, they call their country a land of opportunity. And I strongly believe in that personally, because I came to this country and it started with dishwashing in a hotel called Marriott in Blacksburg, Virginia. I was a dishwasher. But I was told by my American friends, that if I work hard and have a goal and objectives in my life, I can make it. And I did. Both my wife and I, we went to school. We took one course at a time. Took us a long time, but we were patient and we got educated. Because in order to achieve your goals in this country, you need to do a productive work. And mostly this productive work comes through knowledge and education. And again, if you want to play Islamic, the Quran says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, O my Lord, advance me in knowledge. And the Prophet of Islam says, learning is mandatory for all men and women. Or he says that from cradle to grave, seek knowledge. Or he said that seek knowledge even in China, because at that time, to the Hijaz or Arab lands of that time, China was far away. So my next advice to you is that you need to get busy, go to adult schools and learn English, and invest all your energy and time and resources on education. Even if it's one course at a time, you can make it. And this is my biggest advice to you, because you will have a comfortable life in this country when you have a good education. Of course, there are many people who do not have a college education, but they built a good life. But those people did have a skill. If you know carpentry, if you know masonry, if you know electricity, as an electrician, or any skill, then you could get a job. One reason that people go through a lot of problems in their lives because they are not busy. They are not preoccupied. They don't have anything to do. So that's why they are fighting with their wives. They are abusing their children. In this in this pandemic, in the last 1.5 years, or almost 2 years, the domestic violence in America rise big time. Why? Because both men and women were at home. They didn't have anything to do. And as a result, they were fighting, which is a very uncivilized way of life. A civilized man, a civilized woman always gets busy. Do something, read something, go for a walk, because taking care of your health is extremely important. Because without a good health, you can't do anything. But for new immigrants, you need to talk to your representative or agents, immigration agents, or whoever, churches and other organizations take care of you. You need to sign up for adult education. And if you know English, that's good. Improve your English and get some, in this country, they call it vocational education. Vocational education. Those are that hand-on occupations that you learn and do something. For example, within 6 months, you learn how to fix refrigerators. Simple. Or within 6 months, you learn how to fix garage doors. Or with 6 months, you learn how to do a vaccination injection, or a little bit more, 1 year. These are the fields that there's a lot of demand, and at the same time do not require very high academic education, but you will be educated in a field vocationally and serve your family and serve your society. One reason that America is very advanced, it's not just because of the nature of capitalism, because this is one of the most advanced country of the world, economically, militarily, scientifically. But one reason that I have been here for 42 years, America is highly advanced because people take an initiative to do something for themselves, and no one can stop you. They give you permission so easily, and you do something. So people take initiative to do something. So use your aql, use your intelligence, and do something for yourself. It's very easy to do some menial jobs, like I did dishwashing and this and that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, give us aql, intelligence, give us talent, common sense, in all that to use as a toolbox for our advancement. And He also promised in the Quran that those who try hard, He also loves that, and He makes them achieve their goal. So, and I'm a good example of that, because I had some people came with me in 1979, almost 42 years ago, but they didn't take the initiative that I took that initiative. We came, as they say, with the same boat. We came with the same aircraft, landed in New York or Virginia, and starting from scratch. But I took the path that Islam teaches me. Learn knowledge. Because the first foundation of Islam is knowledge. And that's why the Quran is the first revelation, as I always tell you, is Iqra, to read. And then later the Prophet of Islam, that no any other religion is so powerful in this area. And then the Prophet said that the first thing God created was the pen, just the pen. So that's why the foundation of Islam is knowledge. Whether this knowledge is coming with 6 months education, 1 year education, 2 year education, all the way to a PhD and doctorate program, as we did, knowledge is, in this country, they say knowledge is power. So you have to get educated. And most importantly, you need to educate your wife too. Unfortunately, some of us are so selfish that we want to do something for ourselves, but we ignore our wives. And that is not an Islamic attitude, because learning is mandatory for all men and women. So try to, both of you, husband and wife, go to adult school, learn English, and be independent. Because independence comes with true knowledge. Economic independence comes with knowledge. The other issue I like to talk about is your children. You will have a big challenge about your children. Be kind to your children. Don't abuse them like mostly they abuse them in Afghanistan. They are, according to psychology, they are little people. They have feelings, they have understanding, they have emotion, they have a heart. They're just little people. They don't have the experience that you do have. They don't have the education that you do have. So don't abuse your children. Be kind to your children. Love them. Listen to them. Communicate with them. Talk to them. Don't get angry with them. If you want to have an easy time with your children, if they are small now and they're going to be a teenager, the first step is to be kind to them. And don't enforce things on them. Explain things to them. And this is that once upon a time I used to teach on human development theories. So teach them. Communicate with them. Talk to them with love and compassion. Don't get angry at them. Don't abuse them. Don't slap them on the face. Because then, when they are a little bit older, they are going to run away from home if you commit abuse. Abuse is not that you're just beating somebody. It's a verbal abuse. It is threatening. Threatening is an abuse. Lying to them, it's an abuse. That you promise them something and then you don't fulfill that promise. That's an abuse because you cheated him or her. And most importantly, if you want to be a Muslim family, Islam is a deen of love and compassion, in understanding, in cooperation. Islam, as the Taliban plays or the Daesh plays, these are not a representative of Islam. And that's why even some of our young generation that grew up over here, they misunderstood about Islam. And they never dig out the true information about Islam. That Islam is a religion of love, or deen of love, because deen, I told you in the past, the true translation, there's no true translation of deen. Religion is a forced translation on deen. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a way of life. It's a culture. It is a civilized culture. It's a scientific culture. It's a culture that based upon the philosophy of Tawhid, meaning oneness of God in the universe. So it's not just an aqidah, a belief that, oh, I'm not believing in Islam, so what? And that's not the case. The case is this, that Islam is a deen of cohesive relationship between mankind and the universe. So you can't detach yourself from Islam. Shajara, the trees in the Quran, they're bowing to Allah. The whole universe is Islam. The whole universe is Muslim because it's created by the same God. So law of nature and law of Allah is one and the same. So when you misunderstand Islam, you will have a problem. You need to read, because in Afghanistan, there's no good books of Islam available. So please read, as the first revelation was to read. Read the Quran, ask questions. There's no shame to ask questions, but it's a shame to not know, and then act based upon ignorance. Act based upon ignorance. So be kind to your children, and also take them to the library. Make sure that they read books. Avoid purchasing all these electronic devices, but make sure that your children read good books. If you want to have peaceful life in the years to come with your teenagers, then make them to read, take them to the library, let them choose their books and read, and then return those books on time, so they should learn responsibility. And this life in this country will be very challenging. I also know that 1 or 2 people or 3 people, they left and went back to Afghanistan because they couldn't take it. It's too much freedom here. But again, freedom comes with responsibility. Don't leave your wives alone and then hang out with your male friends. Why you married? You married to be with your wife. You married to be with your own family. So I have had several times, I have had some calls from some organization that they deal with immigrants, that I need to mention these things to them and open up some seminars. And I'm advising to Bojan and her friends to open up some seminars. And these seminars are free of charge. I'm not charging anything, because knowledge is not for sale. According to Islam, knowledge is not for sale. Knowledge is not a business. We come to Sacramento, to Maryland, to Virginia, to Los Angeles, anywhere, and you open up these classes and bring all these immigrants. So we need to talk to them and also listen to them and their own problems, so they should have a peaceful life. One thing the US government or a state government do not really do, they do a little bit. They don't teach them civic life. And one reason that immigrants become violent, immigrants become, they go to jail, immigrants will have problems, abuse their wives, abuse their children, become a drug addict and alcoholic, is simply because from day one, nobody told them how to live in this country with peace. Because the land of opportunity, it is a true statement. And I did it from dishwashing all the way to being a professor at university. But this comes with responsibility in moral issues. And also, do not get involved with your tribal mentality. Like you are a Pashtun, or you are Tajik, or you are this, or you are that. Be a good human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, will not ask you about these things in the hereafter. This is another stupidity that most Afghans, I'm sorry to say that, most Afghans do have with them. So your job is to not break the law. Your job is to get educated. Your job is to treat your family with respect and love and compassion. And be a productive, try to become a productive member of the society. And this society was built not just because of the nature of capitalism, but people took the initiative to do something for their own country. And that's what I like about America. that give me the opportunity to do what I wanted to do for myself. Until next week, inshallah, next Monday, I wish you all newcomers the best of life and health and happiness. And again, I thank Tubojan for inviting me and putting up a wonderful event yesterday in Sacramento, California. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.